And I spoke to Big T, the one that beat up Bambaataa. Oh yeah, Big T was like a bodyguard or something
For Zulu?
for Zulu at one point.
Okay.
One thing I gotta say, I think we living in a simulation because everybody's being exposed at this point. Listen, hip hop took another blow. Pause. Afrika Bambaataa. For those who don't know, that's the man who's credited with founding the Zulu Nation and shaping early hip hop culture. All right, let's not forget about that. He lost a civil case for CS abuse. You should know what that means right there when I did it like that. All right, cool. Let that sink in. A pioneer now officially held liable in court. Before it was allegations. Now the proof is in the pudding. Pause, no Diddy. So let's talk about that. Matter of fact, preview this clip real quick. Check this out.
He beat up Bambaataa. Why?
Basically, he tells a story about they had Bam's crib. You know, a lot of times if people watching TV in the front, you know, sometimes people go to the back, Bam's bedroom to watch TV. Now, I don't know, you know, just that's where one of the TVs was at.
Okay.
He said he was back there watching TV. He might have dozed off or something. When he wakes up, he sees, allegedly, I wasn't there, but he told me and other people that he sees Bambaataa fucking jerking some nigga named Rodney off over there. And so now T is like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? And he said, Bam is like, oh, relax, T, everybody does it, da 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 da. And T got to whooping some ass in that fucking room. You know what I mean? He said he whooped Bambaataa out for that shit. And maybe anybody else that was in the room. You know what I mean?
Okay. What did Poppy tell you?
The same. He said, that motherfucker is, you know, he said he's a pedophile, period. He's a piece of shit, is what he told me. You know what I mean?
Now, if you're not familiar, Bambaataa was actually already facing serious accusations dating back to the 1980s. You know what year we in right now? We in year 2025. That's diabolical right now. Having cases stemming all the way back 30, 40 years ago. What are we doing right now? The system is crazy because they quick to lock anybody up for anything different. But for this right here, they let him ride too long, pause, no Diddy. But this isn't new. Remember, multiple men have stepped forward over the years, including your boy Hassan Campbell. Let's not forget about him. Remember, he said he got thawed by him, all right? That's even crazy thinking about that. I don't know. I mean, based on what Lord Jamal said, it's believable now. That's crazy. He had a fetish. This is actually the first time a court ruled against your boy. You understand me? The case came from a 2021 lawsuit filed under the New York Child Victims Act, allowing survivors to sue even if the statute of limitation has passed. I'm telling you, these laws are bugged out. I just don't get it. In the meantime, don't forget, if you like reactions like this, consider hitting that like button. Definitely subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell. Let's roll the next clip, baby.
And now it was to the point to where that there's situations where I felt like I had to people that I love. Now we are enemies because Zulu Nation was much more than just Afrika Bambaataa. So now you got the Zulu Nation on trial for what I've been through and Bronx River. Because now all the conversations is going on. And there was like the center, for example, where all the community center, the people that ran the center, everybody in that center knew Bam was touching kids.
All right, y'all. So this comment sent me down another rabbit hole. This is Afrika Bambaataa. If you don't know Afrika Bambaataa in the Zulu Nation, he is a very legendary pioneer of rap from the Bronx. Here's a sample of one of his most popular songs. Now, I don't know if these allegations are true. I don't know anything, but this article is from Rolling Stone, and I'll read it to you. A lawsuit filed in August accuses the hip-hop pioneer Afrika Bambaataa of sexually abusing and prostituting a minor over a 4-year period of time in the early 90s. In this lawsuit filed in August under New York Child Victims Act and obtained by Rolling Stone, the John Doe victim alleges that from 1991, When the plaintiff was merely 12 years old to 1995, the plaintiff was repeatedly sexually abused and sex trafficked at the hands of Bambaataa, referred to in the lawsuit by his birth name, Lance Taylor. A representative for Bambaataa did not immediately respond to Rolling Stone's request for comment. A lawyer for John Doe told Rolling Stone in a statement, "The New York Child Victims Act has finally provided a legal means for victims of sexual abuse to hold those like Afrika Bambaataa responsible for the psychological and physical injuries caused to their victims. We will aggressively pursue justice for our client." According to the lawsuit, the then 12-year-old Doe was allowed access to the home gym within Bambaataa's Bronx apartment, where the DJ first would comment about the plaintiff's muscular body and touch him on the shoulders, biceps, and torso. Bambaataa allegedly would later inappropriately touch the plaintiff in his private areas, which would progress to watching pornographic videos at Bambaataa's apartment, where he would encourage the plaintiff to masturbate, which would soon progress to mutual masturbation. That lawsuit claims progressed to sodomy. Plaintiff became a victim of sex trafficking. Pause to read the rest. This is also a little snippet from Google where a man named Ronald Savage wrote a memoir called Impulse, Urges, and Fantasies, where Life is a Bag of Mixed Emotions, where Savage wrote that he was molested in 1980 by a well-known legendary hip-hop pioneer, but he did not name Bambaataa publicly as the alleged perpetrator until March 29, 2016.
So supposedly, they found enough evidence to hold him accountable. You know, nowadays, people don't like accountability. Even though it was civil, not criminal, the damage is done. Man, listen, it was both if you ask me. That was reckless of him to be doing this to any man, boy, child. Like, what are you really doing? A jury found he SA'd a 12-year-old boy in the 80s. What? So why is like this coming out now? I don't get it. I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm sure there was a lot of people who turned the other cheek, and I don't mean in that way. Pause, no diddy, get your mind out the gutter. 12 years old? Wow, imagine the pain that a person carried all these years. You know what kind of psychological issues this person probably has today? I mean, you couldn't even fathom that right now. You get me? Bambaataa didn't even show up to defend himself. Ow. He ignored court orders and dipped. That tells you a lot. I believe he left the country. He probably went somewhere to avoid extradition. That shows a lot of guilt right there, if you ask me. But let's roll the next clip.
Ben was the boogeyman. Everybody knew. The whispers was going. Every parent that seen him with a child knew to snatch those children away from him, but they wouldn't. So when you hear certain celebrities talk about Bam, it's like, oh, like Peter Gunz. Shout out to Peter Gunz. He was just on Queen's Flip platform, and he was like, "Yo, we all knew what Bam was. There ain't no secret." As soon as his name came up, there was the whispers. The only thing about it, back in those days, like when he went on the news and he was like, "Wow, people ain't say all of this back in the days," because if it wasn't for social media and the niggas that used to be around back then, and this would have been said, your whole family would have been murdered. That wouldn't happen. And he knew that. You wasn't going to just sit up there and say no stuff like that. He had families disappear. If I would have said what I said back then, my mother would have been dead.
You brought up Afrika Bambaataa. Yeah. Now I'm going to ask you an honest question. Back in the days, what we heard now from Hassan Campbell, B. Stinger, these individuals that talk about it, that suffered from this man, that they said, right? Back in the days, was the rumor about him, was this known back in the days? Was it known at the time? Honestly,
yeah.
You could say, really?
I went to James Monroe High School. I just told y'all that. That's like next to Bronx River, the projects. It was always rumored. Just to be honest, man, you know, I love the Bronx, but I got just, if we keep it 100, keep it 100. Yeah, but the first the rumors was that he was gay. That was the rumors. And then somebody came and started talking about the other stuff. And it wasn't until I was in Bronx River one day with my man Bryant, My people over there, man, I don't want to just throw niggas' names out there and put them in the situation. But I was with my mans and them out there, and they said some real crude shit. And I was like, they from there. They from him. And that's what it made me go, oh, there might be some validity to this, you know? And the last time I saw a band, man, I was in the State Building. I went to visit Minister Farrakhan. And Bam was waiting. He was outside getting ready to see the minister, too. And it was like a week after that shit hit the daily newspapers, that people was coming out with that. So, now the rumors was out there.
I'm talking about back in the days, not like because it came out 2016 when the Rolling Stones.
I was hearing this shit, man. Like, I was hearing stuff.
What year?
I never, just to be honest with you, I hate to say it, man. You guilty of your heroes ignoring shit about your heroes. You know, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? I was guilty of that.
So even if you heard it, you ignored it.
It was rumors. And to me, like, nigga, that's just, nigga, I don't get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Well, you said you was hearing this in high school.
I heard some.
And nobody thought to. Why do you think? And I want you to be honest. Like, why did nobody not do anything? Like, even up to this day, he hasn't been. I mean, he's been sued, but hasn't been charged. Why do you think nobody has done anything?
Because it's a difficult thing, man. Like, like when I look at some of these guys that people that's coming out, people that, look, that's a hard thing to admit, bro. Some of these niggas ain't admit till they was adults. So it's a rumor until somebody come out straight up and say it.
I really don't think people understand who this man really is, right? This man really helped birth hip hop. We're talking about the culture itself, all right? Planet Rock, Zulu Nation, peace, unity, love, and having fun. Oh, man, come on, DJing? That's where all of this birthed from. But behind the scenes, your boy was a Mookington, grooming them. Hey, that's what was going on behind closed doors, if you ask me. It's a different story. When our heroes fall like this, what happens to the legacy? Do we hold on to that legacy? Nah. If you ask me, they should get stripped of their legacy. I don't see anything with what you did and the word legacy. I don't see how it correlates with each other. You understand what I mean? Do we separate the art from the artist? Or is that legacy forever tainted? You ask me, I say that legacy is forever tainted. Check this last clip out.
At the center of this movement were two childhood friends, Jonathan Davis, better known as Q-Tip, and Malik Taylor, famously known as Phife Dawg. Their friendship began long before music brought them together. Growing up in the same neighborhood, Q-Tip and Phife bonded over their shared love of basketball, sneakers, and, most importantly, hip-hop. The music wasn't just a pastime. It was an escape and a way to express themselves. They admired artists like Run DMC, Afrika Bambaataa, and De La Soul, all of whom helped shape the foundation of their musical journey. Growing up in St. Albans, Queens, in the 1970s, Phife Dawg, aka Malik Taylor, was most comfortable performing in school plays and in church, according to Rolling Stone. Eventually, he would gravitate toward writing poetry, which would prove a gateway into his hip-hop career. Malik and Jerobi met when Jerobi's family moved to Queens in 1981. As neighbors, they began beatboxing and rapping together. From there, Malik introduced Jerobi to Q-Tip, aka Kamal Ibn John Farid, at his school's gym. "We played basketball every day," Jerobi recalled to Rolling Stone. "Hours upon hours. Inevitably, somebody from around the way would be like, 'I heard y'all rap. Let's battle.' And we'd battle somebody every day." The group would make their freshman album, but afterward, a good amount of time passed before they would meet again in the studio. Shortly before ATCQ began recording their sophomore album, Q-Tip had a run-in with Phife Dawg on a train leaving Queens heading to Manhattan. At the time, Phife Dawg was a teenager who didn't seem interested in pursuing music, but Q-Tip convinced him to collaborate. As teenagers, they began experimenting with beats and rhymes, often writing lyrics in school notebooks and recording tracks on cassette tapes in Q-Tip's basement.
Like that, it's like this. When you hear this, yo, he be in a bliss.
Their passion for music caught the attention of another neighborhood
Look, I grew up on hip hop, and I believe a lot of y'all grew up on hip hop. I don't care what race, gender, where you were born, you came up on hip hop. If you're not up to the current hip hop, you're still on the old school hip hop, but hip hop is there. All right. So now I respect what he did for the culture. However, We can't protect predators. No way, Jose, baby. We're not doing that. Not now, not ever. Let this be a reminder, all right? Truth comes out eventually. No matter how powerful, you see what happened with Diddy. No matter how powerful you are, the truth will come out. You can't suppress it forever. And shout out to the survivor for speaking out, because this takes a lot of guts. You understand me? A lot of, man, you got to be bold to come out and just, I guess maybe they can move forward with their life. But hey, courage, that takes a lot of it. I'm telling you. So let me know what you think in the comments. Should hip hop fully cancel Bambaataa? I think so. That's just my opinion. Or is his influence still too big to erase? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys on the next one.